will be a time like you've never had in your lives. America.
Quietly, this will be quite an event. Freedom Williams is mad about the fact that people are mad at him about this.
You keep pushing me, I'll do the motherfucking show in North Korea, pissing on the American flag, smoking a Cuban cigar, drinking Venezuelan wine, playing golf with motherfucking Kim Il-jung with an Iranian bitch on my lap. While Trump's standing there with his in his hand.
The strange part wasn't just the over-the-top language or the outrageous comparisons. It was how quickly the spotlight moved away from the original celebration and onto the spectacle surrounding it. What was supposed to be another patriotic event suddenly became a conversation about personality, public image, and the growing habit of turning every headline into a performance. That is exactly why comedians could not resist jumping in. They were not simply reacting to one bizarre moment. They were reacting to a pattern that keeps repeating, where every attempt to create a memorable occasion somehow ends with people talking about something completely different.
Trump's approval numbers, like his testicles, have sunk to an all-time low. They are lower than they have ever been. He is now down to 34%. He has the same approval rating as Paul Blart Mall Cop. The Blart of the deal. Not only is Trump at his lowest point, he's also 2 points behind J.D. Vance. I don't have a joke for that. I just want to make sure he knows he's 2 points behind J.D.
That pattern becomes even more noticeable when the attention shifts towards symbolism. A proposal involving a special bill featuring Trump's image immediately sparked another round of jokes, not simply because it sounded unusual, but because critics argued it reflected a larger theme. Every new idea seemed to circle back to the same person. Whether discussing monuments, celebrations, or commemorative projects, the conversation repeatedly returned to Trump's public image. That is exactly the type of setup late-night hosts thrive on. The humor writes itself because the more ambitious the proposal sounds.
Out on this gem from December 19th when, at a rally in North Carolina, he finally broke his silence on the First Lady's underpants.
Her undergarments, sometimes referred to as panties.
That's right, sometimes. I can't think of a more fitting or vomitous way to end a terrible year than hearing Donald Trump use the word panties on television. That should be a war crime.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to subscribe because moments like these often reveal more than the headlines ever manage to explain. This is where the story takes another unexpected turn. Instead of major policy announcements dominating the conversation, attention drifts toward off-the-cuff remarks that immediately become viral clips. A single unusual phrase suddenly overshadows everything else happening that day. It highlights something that has followed Trump throughout his public career. The unexpected comment almost always generates more discussion than carefully prepared speeches. Supporters often dismiss these moments as harmless or entertaining, while critics see them as unnecessary distractions. Either way, everyone ends up talking about the same clip.
He wrote, "Not only wasn't I friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, but based upon information that has just been released by the Department of Justice, Epstein and a sleazebag lying author named Michael Wolff conspired in order to damage me and/or my presidency." That's right. Trump wasn't friendly with the man he said this about to New York Magazine in 2002. "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." I mean, what more do we need?
That is also why past statements continue resurfacing whenever new controversies appear. Public figures rarely get judged by a single remark in isolation. Instead, people begin comparing older interviews with current responses, looking for consistency or contradiction. When earlier quotes return to the spotlight, they often become just as important as whatever was said most recently. That creates a situation where history never feels completely finished, because archived interviews can suddenly become front-page material years later. For comedians, this provides an endless source of material. Rather than inventing fictional scenarios, they simply place different moments side by side and allow audiences to notice the contrast for themselves. Sometimes the biggest laugh comes not from adding commentary, but from replaying two statements that appear difficult to reconcile. The audience naturally fills in the rest. At the same time, supporters and critics often interpret these moments through completely different lenses. One group may view the criticism as politically motivated, while another sees it as accountability for public statements. The same clip can produce entirely opposite conclusions depending on who is watching. That explains why debates surrounding Trump rarely end after a single news cycle. They evolve into broader arguments about media coverage, public perception, and political identity itself.